All right, Matt Davia, we're back here. Carl and I are talking about markets. Carl, we were just saying happy Cinco de Mayo, by the way. They're closing the streets of Bend for a special festival to celebrate the freedom of Mexico here in the United States. I'm sure on July 4th they'll be doing the same thing down in the streets of Mexico City. So happy to be celebrating the freedom of all Mexicans here in the United States today. That being said, we were just talking how spooky this market is today.
Not. Spooky.
So spooky because everything is, as you said, I like your word, coordinated, feeling coordinated. We're feeling like everything is selling here. Copper hitting new lows below $3.99. We've been talking about commodities. Obviously, everybody's, talking about this. The retail guy was getting involved in stocks just recently. The retail guy, the S&P is still only off 35 from its all-time high here over the last 3 years, 1377 we hit on Sunday night. So what are you seeing? Give us a little feel. Let's talk about commodities because I think the commodities, copper started breaking 3 or 4 months ago. That was really always a leading indicator for me. It still is. It's working. And, that was a warning sign really back in January. Wheat peaked out, let's say February, March timeframe. The real grains, those things are failing. They have been failing really since February. They made a push up here, but didn't get to that high. So it's looking very head and shoulderish on the softs. Lumber just has never participated, Carl.
Dead money.
So lumber's telling us that the housing market will continue to be dead. Forget about all the pundits. Yep. Even though spring, basically the selling season is over already for housing.
Good if you want to buy a house and you want to borrow some money cheap.
Yeah, if you want to, good luck, right? Good luck.
No, it's all good there. Yeah. But in terms of commodities, this feels a little too coordinated. I guess the first thing that clicks in my mind would be whether or not this is a one-day wonder in the dollar. And so we need to watch that first of all. Then you need to watch your levels and your commodities that you're looking at. So I am not liking commodities here. I just feel this is a little too coordinated.
Not liking them as a short, not liking them.
Just either way. I am nonplussed both ways. Do not want to be involved.
Danger Will Robinson. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, the easy money's been, what's interesting, we were talking again about before we came on, the easy money I believe has been made on the downside already to the commodities. And, most people, of course, were chasing them on Sunday. And now they're going to start chasing them to the downside because they've seen the way the retail mind thinks is they're like, oh shit, I just missed the big move up or down, and they buy at the top and they sell at the bottom. And I think, yesterday I saw some people trying to catch that knife in crude and in, silver and shit. You had another 10%, wrapped out of silver, today. If you were, again, you're buying silver at 38, 39 yesterday. Today it's 35s, which, we thought we'd see the 35s. Bouncing a little bit here midday during the lunch lady land. Spoos, we talked 1344, ran up there, but now just during lunch lady, just hanging around here, 41s. Again, it's a very strange feeling in here. The jobless numbers today were less than expected, but I think they could game that tomorrow on the real jobs numbers and maybe run this thing.
Yeah, but were the jobs numbers today a surprise to you?
No.
No. So you're asking yourself right now, if the job numbers looked okay tomorrow, would that surprise you?
Well, I think it would surprise the bulk of people, yes.
Okay, fair enough. I don't think I would be surprised if they looked okay.
I agree with you. I guess that's what I mean. I think I expect them to. I expect them to be positive. And today's like this little don't look down this alley. And tomorrow's the real number though.
Yeah, I just don't know how you think you're creating jobs, printing jobs, whatever you want to call it, when we have abnormal high commodity prices. The longs or the bulls, whatever you want to call them, being all giddy about the indices and how things look so good. Personally, I can't get all giddy on this economy when we have such horrible fiscal and monetary policies in this country.
Yeah. The policies continue to be spiraling out of control, and still the little guy doesn't understand them. I see money managers still telling me that hyperinflation is not an option in the United States yet. I guess they're not going with their wives to the food lines to pay for this food because, I go to Costco, used to fill up a basket for $100. I know now I can get a half a basket for about $400, and I'm not buying any meat with that.
No. And that's not to mention what you're paying at the pump, and that's going to stay abnormally high for at least for me as far as my eyes can see, and I consume crude. So
yeah. So,
but anyways,
couple things that I wanted to talk about that you brought up as far as the equities. I think we're in this stage now where it's been easy to beat year over year, quarter over quarter, right? Because we had the terrible years, 08, 09, and we ratcheted everything down. So it's easy to make it look like the profits are being beat here, I think, Carl. That game's being played, and we're in that cycle. But I think we're ending that cycle where the numbers are easy. And so now you're going to get into that cycle where the numbers are going to get more difficult, and they may not miss them the next quarter or two, but they're going to start kind of just hitting them. This is how the cycles roll, and then they kind of start rolling over from there. And then couple that with, as you said, the commodity side, which is affecting every business the last 3 or 4 quarters, but isn't showing up in the earnings numbers yet until the next 2 or 3. Would you agree with that?
Right. Absolutely. But see, I just look at myself as being a consumer, and if I saw $3.50 unleaded gasoline right now, I'd say, wow, what a gift. Right. But in reality, that is still a big pinch to most people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think last summer we were still 270, 280, right? Yeah.
Yeah, beginning of the year. So what I see is the continual passing on the cost to the consumer, which by definition is inflationary.
Yeah.
So if they're going to continue to beat these companies, then so be it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And if stocks do like inflation, then just pay attention to your levels. But for today, I think if you can't close above 43, you should be looking at 33 on ES. That's where I'm at with it.
Right. Well, and again, it's all in the close, and we're in that lunch lady land, 9:55 here as we record this. Oil pushing down to the lows of the day again. Oil was, our low was about 101 teens. I think we might have got right to 101 actually. We're at 101.70. Ugly charts all over. Gold pushing down. I know copper broke below $4. Again, the grains, the softs aren't doing much here as we scout. Folks, I don't know about you, Carl, but I think you got to kind of wait until this last hour of the day and see where we are. Like you said, I think that 1343 area is key. You fall below that, and the ES still has some work to the downside. The ES is barely down 3% from its high. So, whereas commodities are getting throttled, if the dollar continues to rally and hold above 74 on a close, I think you got to be careful on, as you said, on your levels on the ES. I wouldn't be chasing it necessarily to the long side here soon. But again, look for the signs, and there's no hurry, I don't think, right now.
No, I think there's reason to believe that people will be a little concerned going into the close with where we sit with today's jobless increases.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, you might see some sell-offs. Exactly. You got to watch for the sell-offs, I think, here into the close as, again, people, just because of today's numbers in the jobs, I think people will be bearish into the close. Yeah. Now, that means that everybody's going to be...
Crude-wise, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but crude-wise, I would watch 101.11-ish, and below that, you're going to be in the 99s. for me to get all bullish on crude here, I would have to see a close over 104.71. So
yeah, I would agree with that.
I'm kind of nonplussed about things. So.
And really, a 4-hour chart got real ugly on the close yesterday, and this is why, we were telling people, hey, don't try to be a hero and catch these knives on all these commodities. It's so interesting, the way people think on these things. This is not the time to be, catching knives. These things, you'll have plenty of time if they turn. You'll have plenty of time to revert to the mean if they really turn. You'll see, as Carl and I are talking about, expand your time frames a little bit. Look at
exactly. Go back to your longer time frames and then scroll into your shorter time frames for your entry and exit points.
I mean, you have to.
It doesn't matter if you're buying or selling a market. You need to do the same. The same discipline is required.
I mean, right now, I would much rather be a seller of oil on a rally to say 108 than trying to catch a knife down in here.
Yeah. Again, I guess it would all come to where we're at with the dollar.
Yep.
Yep. So, but certainly this does feel coordinated, and it gives me some concern on the long side for commodities.
Yep.
So. Darn speculators, you darn speculators. See what you did?
Yeah, darn speculators. Well, again, this, the funny thing when they talk about the speculators is the guys that they're talking about, the guys weren't long oil, they weren't long silver, they were selling it. So all this talk about the evil speculators has just crushed, the guys who jumped on board at the end there, thinking that a new paradigm had happened. But it's the same old. The little guys get smashed, and
what was good before now is bad, right?
Right.
Right. Oh. Yin and yang, man. Wax on, wax off. Whisk on, whisk off.
Risk on, risk off. Wash up, wash down, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah.
All right, buddy.
All right, Carl. We'll be back again tomorrow. Appreciate your time today. And our Wings just couldn't pull it out. They had another heartbreaking 1-goal loss last night.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.